Vasori, no public figure has promoted replacement theory more loudly or relentlessly than Fox host Tucker Carlson, who has made elite-led demographic change a central theme of his show since joining Fox's primetime lineup in 2016. A Times investigation published this month showed that in more than 400 episodes of his show, Mr. Carlson has amplified the notion that Democratic politicians and other assorted elites want to force demographic change through immigration. And his producers sometimes scoured his show's raw material from the same dark corners of the internet that the Buffalo Suspect did. It's creeping into everybody's daily viewing across America, fair to say. I don't know I guess that's the mainstream, but it's prevalent in a lot of very widely followed figures in media.
Well, I wouldn't call it creeping in. It's busting in the door, busting through the door. But what was so fascinating about the Confessori story was that it was actually Fox News executives who were scouring the minutes and trying to push that sort of programming on Dayside, trying to move that sort of programming across all of the network.
So you say scouring the minutes. What do you mean? What is, just so our viewers understand, they were looking at what pops?
Just looking at the minute by minutes to see the ratings, to see what was working. And the Fox News executives were then trying to push that across the entire channel. So this is not an isolated case. This is the Murdochs, and this is members of the board like Paul Ryan. This is their plan, and they've quite deliberately, if the reporting in the Times is correct, if the people who worked at Fox News are accurate in what they're saying, this is a network-wide plan from Rupert Murdoch down. If you read that story and believe that story, the plan is not to just keep it in prime time, but to spread it across the entire channel. And that's what Paul Ryan on the board is obviously, I guess he supports that. I knew Paul very well. I didn't know, it's sort of surprising, but that's what Paul Ryan, board member, must support. It's certainly what the New York Times reports Rupert Murdoch supports. And so it's fascinating. And I want to go back to, though, what Michael Steele, you were talking about replacement. You replacing Elise Stefanik. Let's just think about the richness of this for a second. Black Americans, their ancestors came here in a most unhappy manner. They were enslaved and drug here. But if you were black and in America, your ancestors actually set foot on this soil 400 years ago.
Yeah.
There are a lot of Irish Americans. There are a lot of Italian Americans. There are a lot of Italians with names like Stefanik. There are a lot of Americans that came from Eastern Europe that didn't come for another 200 years. So when I heard replacement theory used against black Americans, I said, I think
exactly.
I get that backwards. I mean, because a lot of Eastern Europeans came to this country like in the 1900s instead of the 1600s. In the 1800s, Irish came in the 1850s. So if you are Irish, Italian American, if you're from Eastern Europe, if you're standing there going, "Oh, black people are replacing true Americans," what a joke!
It is.
What an ignorant, dangerous worldview.
But it plays to the central core of what you see emanating out of Fox and what Elise did with this information. She peddled it. She grifted off of it. She fundraised off of it. So instead of being a leader and standing up and saying, wait a minute, this is not who we are as a country, because of what Joe just said. When you look at the history and the facts, that's the reality. But no, for her, it was a matter of, I'm going to gain some cash on this. I'm going to raise some money off of this. And I don't really give a damn how it's taken in by the public out there. I don't give a damn how some 18-year-old kid sitting somewhere across America decides to get in a car and drive to another community and blow up people. I don't care about that. The only thing I care about is I got paid. That's the kind of leadership we have right now inside the Republican Party. It's the kind of leadership that, again, they want to condemn Liz Cheney. The condemnation belongs at the feet of people like Elise Stefanik, who sits out and perpetuates this crap and puts it in the mainstream of the country because it's a good grift. It's a good day to get paid. And that's the narrative that we see. And the fact that they don't care, we have 10 dead people.